G'day everyone. Today I want to talk to you about floor plans. I've mentioned in the past that I do floor plans for real estate agents, and I got a bit of a mixed response for that. Some people knew what I was talking about, some people had no idea. And that's pretty much, I guess, because publishing on YouTube, my videos go kind of worldwide, and not every market, not every real estate market in the world uses floor plans. Not every real estate photographer in the world would draw floor plans or even know what they are. But in Australia, these are very common. Where I live in the Sydney metropolitan area, I'm drawing floor plans for every single agent that I do photos for. Now, some of the comments, people were confused about floor plans and wondered, why are we creating an essentially like a builder's plan for a property? Isn't that a waste of time? Is that someone else's job? Is that even a photographer's job? Well, interesting story about I think about floor plans was, I started real estate photography way back. I did my first job in 2005. There was no such thing as floor plans back then that I even knew of. I found out about how to draw floor plans using this particular software called SmartDraw from another guy in 2009 who taught me everything he knew about creating floor plans. And I immediately saw the potential of using this for real estate agents, and I offered it as a service to real estate agents at the time. It wasn't until 2010 that I did probably my first plan for a local real estate agent, and it was really a novelty back then. It wasn't a widespread adopted practice, but it kind of took off. It kind of property owners who saw floor plans were impressed. They were impressed because they could instantly see the house that they were looking at purchasing. They could see the room sizes, and they could compare them to their current house. They could compare them to other houses on the market. And it made it very easy for people on the internet to make accurate comparisons about properties, not just room sizes, but also room layouts. Where's the bedrooms in relation to the living room? Where's the bedrooms in relation to, say, a rumpus room? Is the rumpus room, is it going to be too noisy there for the kids' bedrooms, the nursery, whatever? Where's the bedrooms in relation to the road? And there's all sorts of things like that. So there's a lot of considerations that people try and make when they're purchasing a property. And the floor plan gave people a visual representation of the property, just like a builder's plan. They could easily start planning whether or not that property was the right property for them. And real estate agents picked up on that. And I guess they realized as well that this had immense power for people to make purchasing decisions on properties. Back in the old days, it was just photos, and they were bad photos at that. And when you went to look at a property, you would walk in, you'd look and go, oh, this layout's terrible. We wasted our time coming here. I don't like this house. And you would generally have to go to see a lot of properties before you found the one that you liked, with the bedrooms and the layout that you liked. Floor plans basically just cut that process right down for potential buyers. So now they could look at all these houses online and then only go and see the ones that they like the layouts of. So that was a huge bonus for property buyers, and real estate agents saw that potential in where I live. They saw that potential, and they also saw it, as a good marketing tool for themselves to offer themselves as a difference to other agents. In the beginning, but now pretty much every agent uses them, and it's almost expected now that a floor plan is going to be produced for every property that's put on the market for sale. And I draw floor plans for every single real estate job that I do. And this is the type of floor plan that I draw. The software is called SmartDraw, so I'm only going to do pretty much an intro in this video. I'm not going to go into detail about how I actually draw these up. I'm only going to show you kind of the finished plans and give you a basic overview of the software. So the software I use is called SmartDraw. I've been using this since 2009, this software. I've used it through several different iterations. This is PC or Mac software. I use it on a 15-inch Ultrabook laptop. So I purchased a refurbished Samsung Ultrabook laptop with a small 128 gig hard drive. Runs Windows 7. It's really fast, starts up really fast, really light, so I can carry it around easily with my laser measure when I'm measuring a house. And it has a 15-inch screen, which I find really helpful when I'm on site drawing floor plans. I like to have a lot of screen real estate when I'm drawing a plan, so I like to be able to lay out a lot of sections of my rooms and stuff like that on a screen which is big enough where I can see it all at once. I've tried using different apps on iPads, and I've just never found an app that I really like using. I've never found using your fingers intuitive. I really like using a mouse, so I'm always using a laptop with a mouse on site. I just find it easier just to quickly grab and drag and move things with a mouse. I find it's far quicker for me to do than and using my fingers on an iPad. And also I find the size of iPads to be problematic. Even smaller laptops, the 13-inch laptops, I find are too small. And I tried using a 13-inch laptop a fair while ago now, and I've just found the screen real estate of a 13-inch laptop to be too small. 15 inch is kind of the ideal size for me. Now 15-inch laptops tend to be a little bit big to carry around to places, but if you can find a nice lightweight ultrabook, really small with an SSD, you don't have to buy things new. I buy them refurbished. There's plenty of places on the internet that sell good refurbished laptops, and you can get them for a few $100s, and they make you money. So essentially, this is the kind of floor plan that I draw. This is the detail I use. So for a real estate agent, I just draw the room shapes. I put in room labels. I put in the position of all the doors. I put in the position of all the windows. All the rooms are measured accurately with a laser measure. The measurements themselves are approximated, so that might be 3.08, and I'll just round that out to 3. That might be 3.53, and I'll round it down to 3.5. I put in carports, so any structures attached to the house, carports, verandas. I use thicker lines for my internal walls. I use the thickest lines of all for my external walls, and I actually put these lines on afterwards. So they're my internal boxes there. That's the size of my boxes in there. And the external walls are actual thicker walls that you can draw in this software. You've got a line feature here as well as a shape feature. You can put down shapes and then you can draw lines. Okay. So I'll lay out all my shapes for my rooms, put them all together, and then later on, so on site I'll just lay out the rooms. I'll put the position of the doors and windows on site, and then when I get back to my office, then I'll put the external walls on. I'll put the hatching in bathrooms. I put cross hatching on these so you can actually get a shape and you can fill it with different colors. You can fill it with different textures. And there's a whole texture library, which is another thing altogether. There's a whole texture library full of different textures you can use. But you can also, if you go down, fill a shape with different hatches, and I use a crosshatch pattern. And the reason I use a crosshatch pattern is that that's one of the patterns that's typically used by builders in builders plans just to denote that is a wet area, a tiled wet area in a house. So I'll use that for my bathroom, toilets, and laundry. They get a hatched fill, so you know that that's a wet area. You know where the location of bathrooms and en-suites and stuff are straight away. I'll add my robes, built-in robes. So BIR basically stands for built-in robe, or you can use the word robe, built-in robe or robe, doesn't matter. In the kitchen, I'll put my sinks, just the major appliance, the stove or the oven, and the fridge position, so people know where the fridge is in relation to the kitchen. What else? Some staircases. I always put the stairs in, so the entry stairs in the front veranda, and that's the rear stairs leading down into the backyard. Underneath this house we have because this house is on a sloping block, so the back is much higher than the front. The back's actually 2 stories, and in the back we have a workshop / garage underneath the house, and we have a laundry and another toilet underneath the house. And I've basically put this arrow here just to denote that this section here actually tucks under the back of the house, so people know that. So that's what my floor plans look like. This basically takes this particular floor plan on site took about 25 minutes to measure and lay out on site, and about another 20 to 30 minutes back in the office just putting all the labels on, lining everything up properly, putting the external walls on, lining the windows up properly, bringing everything into position, saving the file, and then grabbing that save file, dropping it onto an A4 document with the real estate agent logo, a compass, and just my disclaimer down the bottom. My disclaimer there, just so people know that this is a real estate illustration. It's a floor plan illustration. It's not a architectural or a building plan. so people understand that, it's not. It's my disclaimer. You pretty much got to have a disclaimer, I think, on all your floor plans. I'm not doing this for architectural purposes. You can't rely on these plans for building or renovating or anything like that. This is really just an illustration. Okay, and then that gets saved. That's an A4 size sheet, and I save that in PDF and JPEG form, and I also save a smaller one, about 1800 pixels along the longest edge, which they can use for their website, and they can also use for their listings. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what the floor plans look like. That's how I lay them out. That's the software I use. This is basically only an introduction, so in future videos I'll go into detail about how I actually construct these floor plans in SmartDraw. Hopefully I can do one on site, so I can actually go through the measurements on site and show you how I measure and do things on site. But for this video, that's about all I've got to say. I hope you enjoyed this introduction into how I do floor plans. Obviously there's going to be some questions. I'm happy to answer them when I get the chance. And again, I'll go into more detail about my floor plans in a future video. But otherwise, thanks for watching.